Okay, I would also like to talk about Final Fantasy VII in terms of later in the game when the group Avalanche, that was the liberation movement against the company slash state uh, that is known as Shinra in the game. They later in the game regret their actions in blowing up the reactors. Uh, and the reason they regret it is not because of the counter-violent act of destroying Shinra infrastructure. In fact, what they learn as they travel the world, having gotten out of the slums throughout the course of the game, kind of justifies, even to a larger degree, just how brutal and corrupt the the invading force that is Shinra. And what they regret about their strategy is explosives are very reckless and dangerous, and Avalanche killed civilians. They killed people who had nothing to do with the structural violence that is perpetrated by the Shinra Corporation. And that moment of maturity is, really good for the game in terms of like the character development, as well as the shifting scope regarding the gamer, the player's understanding of what exactly has led to Shinra having as much power over every other state or government. They basically don't exist. There's basically one world state, one world government, one world corporation that is Shinra, and it abuses all of the powers that it can to achieve more power. But I really liked that at that point they reflect on counter-violent methods that catch civilians in the crossfire is something that's morally wrong and not justified. And I would kind of love to see what their strategy would have been in the earlier sections of the game had they knew what they knew later in the game, right? Because them disavowing the bombing campaigns shows that they would have had a more targeted strategy had they known better, that they would have employed counter-violent measures and acts that do not amount to terrorism, that do not recklessly endanger civilian lives. And it would make for a very different tone and attitude if the game started in, a more educated and somber frame. However, I understand why, in terms of storytelling, sort of beginning with action and rage and spectacle is certainly excellent for the gamer's experience, and not enough has been uncovered about the corporation and how it's dealt with things and subjugated other peoples in order for it to really have that sort of somber, educated sense of reflection, because you jump into the world not really knowing where you are. The world is being built around you as you play. But I wanted to make those points when we are talking about counter-violence in media.